Trustee Hemden. Trustee Cook.
Here.
Trustee Marquardt. Trustee Schultz.
Here.
Trustee Schwartz.
Here.
Trustee Williams. President Byrne.
Here. We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Now, do we have to adjourn to do the public hearing? All right. Okay, well, all right, first item is the 2014-2015 budget public hearing. Is there anybody here that wants to comment on it at all? No one? Anybody on the board want to comment, or staff?
Not today.
Okay.
I will mention, I did put a sheet on the board with summary statistics and basically an up-to-date recap. This is more just a summary of where we are to date and kind of some of the changes we're looking at. And, you know, we're bringing it for proposal on April 15th. I'm sorry, for approval on April 15th.
Okay. There's no comments or questions. I'd like to call the, or close the public hearing. We don't have to have a roll call from us again, do we?
Motion
All
to
right.
close the public hearing.
I'll second it. Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Cook.
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt. Trustee Schultz. Oh, yeah. Trustee
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Hebda. President Byrne.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Any citizens wishing to address the board tonight during?
Just check the clip and then
No? Okay. All right. Proclamation supporting Breathe Deep North Shore Day on April 27, 2014 at Deerfield High School. Where is it? Okay. Whereas lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death in both men and women, claiming approximately 160,000 lives each year, including 6,500 in Illinois. Lung cancer is a devastating disease that can affect anyone, regardless of smoking history, gender, or ethnicity. Lung cancer has only a 16% 5-year survival rate, and funding for lung cancer research lags far behind that of less fatal diseases. Breathe Deep North Shore is a 5K fun run, 1.5 to 2.5 mile walk and balloon launch to unite the North Shore community to raise awareness and crucial funds for lung cancer research. The Longevity Foundation, the nation's largest lung cancer-focused nonprofit organization, has a mission to have a meaningful impact on improving lung cancer survival rates, ensure a higher quality of life for lung cancer patients, and provide a community for those impacted by lung cancer. Breathe Deep North Shore will honor the memories of Longevity founders Melissa Zagan and Gail Levy, as well as Elias Bernstein Keefe and others in the community who lost their lives to lung cancer. This event will also pay tribute to Jill Feldman and others who are courageously fighting lung cancer. The Village of Vernon Hills demonstrates its commitment by making lung cancer a public health priority, in supporting advocacy work on behalf of lung cancer patients and all those at risk for the disease, and by offering support for all those in our community devastated by lung cancer. Now, therefore, I, Roger Byrne, President, Board of Trustees of the Village of Vernon Hills, do hereby support the Breath Deep North Shore Day and urge citizens to recognize and participate in the event to be held on April 27, 2014 at Deerfield High School. Okay. Public Works Director Brown, Lake County Automatic Meter reading devices.
Thank you very much. On the consent agenda, item L is a resolution before you. It's an intergovernmental agreement between Lake County and the Village of Vernon Hills. Phil Perna from Lake County Public Works is here with his team. As they come up, he's going to do a quick presentation, update the audience at home and here as far as what they're proposing to do. The automated meter reading allows for, it's better technology that they can read your water meter at your house and commercial businesses, I suspect, and it can be read automatically, at their facilities. So, Phil will give you a presentation.
Thank you for let me speak tonight. Little background, the county has 12 water systems throughout the county area. We have over 20,000 water meters. The village is our single largest user with over 8,000 or approximately 8,000 water meters. We're replacing the meters because most of them are over 30 years old. They use old technology where the meters are wired to a read-o-matic device on the outside of the house. And in a lot of cases, the meters and those read-o-matic devices are failing and not giving us bad readings or no readings at all. So we're replacing all the meters in all of our systems, and we're using new technology. The new technology will include this automated meter reading, which will have a device attached to the meter. We have a little board here that kind of shows the device. The meters that you see there is basically the same, similar to the meters that are in place now. Obviously, they're new and they're digital. It's a little different. And then wired to the meter will be that gray box right there, which is the transmitter. That transmitter sends a signal out to the repeaters, which are these devices right here. And those devices then send the meter usage data to our facility, to the county facility, to allow us to take track of usage and so forth. We're proposing to start this project in Vernon Hills in May. And typically, before we start the project, we have a letter we send out. I was going to ask Tom to pass those letters around to you. There's a letter we send out to each resident and each customer in the village, all commercial properties and residential properties. Well, they'll get a letter from the Director of Public Works and frequently asked questions that will answer most typical questions about the program. In addition, the county has a web page that is dedicated to the AMR project, answers questions. And in addition, we have on there an installation video on the web page that takes the viewer through a typical residential installation of the meter and the transmitter. The video's a couple minutes long. The typical installation takes 20 to 30 minutes. After about a couple weeks after the letters go out, PMI, who is our contractor on this project, will send they have a call center. They'll send a postcard out to all the customers and request they call their call center to schedule an appointment. So everyone, all the customers can schedule an appointment at the time that works best for them. And that will be handled all through the PMI call center. The IGA that you'll be considering tonight has the terms set up for the county to install and maintain these collector devices right here. There are 17 of them proposed in the village. 8 of them are on village light poles. 4 of them are on SCADA poles, which are poles that we have at our reservoirs or lift stations that are used to transmit data from our facilities. and then 5 of them are on other village facilities. There's proposed to be one at the Village Hall here at the monopole at the Village Hall. There's one at the police station, one at White Deer Run Golf Course, at one of the lights at the driving range. There's one at the Civil Defense Siren at Hartman Park, and then one at the Metro Station. The one light pole we are proposing to change out, I believe it's a 30-foot, existing 30-foot light pole. We're proposing to take that out, install a taller pole on there, and reinstall the light. We've been working with Dave Brown, Mike Atkinson, and Gene Schroeder on the locations and for these proposed collectors. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Trustee Schultz?
I noticed on your letter here on the back page, does automatic meter reading have any other benefits for me? And you kind of allude to it in your answer here, but I want to know more about it. I had a neighbor that would go down to Florida in October and come back in April. Somewhere in November, the furnace went out, and it's my understanding they went through 760,000 gallons of water through their house and through their basement.
Yeah.
What will be the trigger point and how fast? Because you indicate here that you'll be able to detect possible leaks faster and notify your problems. How will you notify, and what's the protocols there?
Yeah, this is one of the good points about the technology. We had several of those this winter because of the deep freeze, but now, since we only read once every 30 days, we can't find those leaks and those big high usage. The software has a trigger on it whereby if there is so many hours, and I don't know the number off the top of my head. I don't know if you do. Pardon me? Okay, so within 24 hours, if it doesn't hit zero, it'll send a red flag to us, to our billing software, and notify us of an exception. And that exception, then we would first call the customer. If we don't get a response, then we will visit the home.
Good, thank you.
Trustee Schultz, how many gallons did you say?
760,000 was the number that I had heard.
How many?
760,000. 760,000.
Is he protesting the bill for God's
I
sake?
have no idea.
This
He
is somebody's house?
subsequently passed away, and
It was a house.
It was a house. It was right next door to me.
Where the hell, was it just filling up the basement? It wasn't running out somewhere?
No, it all trickled down through the house. He had multiple breaks, and it ruined all the drywall.
Yeah.
Mike is aware of the place, I think.
It wasn't running out the front door at some
No,
point?
it all
No,
ran
that
into
was
the
the
basement.
issue.
Yeah, and the electric was still working.
And the
so
sump was going.
The
good.
sump
Oh,
was kicking it out as fast as his
Holy
little heart
God.
could.
Okay. Trustee Cook.
Have you used these elsewhere in terms of reliability in that?
We have, we've broken the county into 7 areas for the installation purposes. We're on our 4th area. Vernon Hills, the start of Vernon Hills will be area number 5. So we've done it, so we've installed just over around 4,300 of these meters already in other areas of the county.
And they're fairly reliable, not subject to, fluctuations based on storms or anything like that, or any interference? that you've had so far?
Not that we have found. I mean, and it's a tried and true technology. I mean, it's pretty common now throughout the
Have
country.
you also done it at all with multifamily where, multiple meters are in a specific room within a building?
Yes, and if there was a multifamily with a meter room, they each would we change out each of those meters? Yes.
Okay, so you may have to, in other words, they're prepared to have to come to a building multiple times
Yes.
to get
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
The transmitter box is going to be outside, like the current little device?
No, this transmitter device?
Yeah.
No, that will be installed in the house,
Oh,
in the vicinity of the meter, yes.
So are you gonna plug the hole that you got through my wall right now?
For the outside?
Yeah.
For the read-o-matic?
Yeah.
We have typically been leaving them in place,
Ah.
but if you request it, we can do something with it. Most people don't like it because it discolors and, if we remove it, it changes
Right.
the coloration, but we can, it's upon request.
Discoloration of siding, or
Yeah,
if he changes it out, then
you probably got the
got to
little,
replace all the siding on the whole house?
well, one panel.
Because you can't match it, right? Gee. Okay, all right. That about it? Okay, so you're,
Don't need any action from us.
no, they don't need action from us, though.
No, it's on the consent agenda, and, if you so choose, approve it as part of everything else.
Yeah, so basically, you're taking out the human factor where
Right, we will no
Where
longer
an error
use
could
meter
occur?
readers.
But isn't that going to disappoint a lot of the dogs in the neighborhood?
Yeah, probably.
I had a chance to talk to one of Lake County Public Works meter readers that worked over 30 years, and she was recalling the days of how she had to meet with each customer, walk down into the basement, read this. So this is good technology. It's good for all parties, so we're glad they're doing this.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thank you very much.
Okay. All right, next is the annual was vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve
I'd like to.
items?
I'd like to pull M for a separate vote. And I
Right.
do have a question on P, but not to pull it.
So, okay, so is there a motion to approve A through L? M is pulled, N through Q.
So made.
Oh, and, I'm
A
sorry.
motion and a second?
Oh, can I also mention that on your dais out for item item H, is a different resolution, 2014-042. It's just some slight changes in some of the accounts within the police department that we're drawing upon.
Do you want to,
Yeah, we received that notification.
yeah.
I'm fine with it.
All right, so it's A through L and then
N through Q.
N through Q.
That is the motion that I'm.
Right,
Second.
there's a second. Any comments or questions?
I have a question on P.
I know, or we're coming back to that. Oh, I'm P. Okay, go ahead.
The price seems very, very good. I thought we were going to be dealing in the millions of dollars, and this first batch for over 1,000 trees is only $110,000. I think that was the number. 160,000. I'm sorry. Yes.
We're very.
Where do we think? I guess my bottom line question is to handle all whatever was 2,800 trees, or whatever the total number was. Where do we think the number is going to finally wind up at, including all costs? Our costs, the removal, disposal,
For this year, for all 3,500
all
trees.
3,500.
All 3,500 trees, we're anticipating that we're probably going to end up in the $1.7, $1.8 million range.
So it's costing us just a boatload to take them down, because this is a third of them, and it's only costing 160 to put it back up, put them back up, so.
We still have the 1,100 trees we're doing this year, 1,100 trees that we're doing next year, and we'll still have another 500, 550 trees after that. So we've already addressed 800. We're continuing through. So that's where I ended up with that number.
Okay.
And we're trying to do what we can in-house to keep that number down also.
How many did you do last year?
Uh,
Public Works.
Public Works in-house, 560 trees that we did in-house. It took us a little over 2 months as far as the removal, all hands on deck. 1,100, that's twice as much, so that's why we're contracting out the tree removals. They're moving around town, as you can tell. The first day, they removed 73 trees. They've got 3 crews out there. They've got all the equipment, and they're doing good progress. So they'll continue doing that. We're following up behind them, not only removing trees ourselves, and then we're also doing stump grinding. So we're going to grind them. We're ordering trees as part of this resolution, and then we need to have the trees delivered and then planted. So, and we also have a contractor who's out around town pruning trees. So all things trees this month and next month.
Are we going to let the public attack the pile at the metro station, or you still directing everybody to get their mulch from Public Works?
We'd like them to go to Public Works. We're setting up a variety of different locations for our purposes, just to allow our contractor to, it's just a short haul to dump the chips. They're going to be larger wood chips. What we'd like to do, and we'll advise the board later on this, we'd like to have a tub grinder brought around various locations within the village. It's a 4-hour minimum anyway, and they can probably get to all of these various locations, triple mulch it so it's better material. We use that material at the Arbor Theater, at the VHAC. We've assisted the Park District. We'd like to use that resource ourselves. If we have excess, then we would announce it to the general public that they could also utilize it. But at a minimum, we'll have it at our Public Works building.
And is that triple mulch what you have at the Public Works?
It is. It is. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
You just kill the bugs when they chip it?
As long as
That
it's,
well, I guess where I'm gonna go with that is then what, with the mulch, I mean, they, obviously you don't kill them all.
the life cycle of a emerald ash borer. So what you have to understand is when they're eating the tree, they're basically, it's the not the outer bark and not the hard core part of it. It's basically the blood vessels of the tree from the roots bringing it up and back and forth. So in the pupa stage, it's actually inside the tree. Once you cut it into smaller wood chip size particles, they're not able to actually, receive the nourishment and go through their whole growth cycle. So arborists have advised us that once you mulch it, they will not continue. If they're already past that pupa stage and they're into their flight, they've got their wings, they've already moved on to other locations. So that's my understanding.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions? We got a motion and a second, right?
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? President Byrne?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we got to go back to what?
M.
M. All right. Trustee Schultz, you want to speak? to
I'm
that?
just trying to be consistent. At the Committee of the Whole, I indicated that I was uncomfortable, and I guess I'm putting my stake in the sand on this particular one. Because there is no outdoor servers, there will be no Bassett people out on that patio there, that it'll kind of be out of sight, out of mind, especially the way the layout of the serving or purchase line is. Therefore, I'm going to vote no on this, but that's just me.
I would only point out that the ordinance needs 4 to pass, so if the board wants
Bullet.
to pass it until we have a full complement, because otherwise it can't pass tonight.
All right, well then we'll table it till the next meeting, huh?
So you
Okay,
need a motion to table item M till next meeting?
yeah, I'll second. Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
No.
Okay,
President Byrne?
aye, motion carries. Okay, what do we got? Unfinished business. Okay, is there a motion to approve the Kemper voucher list of bills dated April 1st, 2014, in the amount of $5,413.75?
And that too is the same situation.
Oh,
We need
okay.
4 votes.
All right, same with,
So
well,
motion to
we,
table? We
fine,
don't,
four
she
votes.
has to abstain.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right, she's got, yeah, okay. All right, well, you'll table that, is there a motion to
Mo-
table that one?
Motion to table the approval of the Kemper voucher list.
I'll second it. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Williams, Trustee Hebda, Trustee Cook,
Aye?
Trustee Markwart, Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz. Aye. President Byrne.
Aye, okay, motion carried. All right, approval of the March 19th, 2014 Village Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Motion and a second. Is there a second? Second. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Hebda, Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Markwart, Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz. Aye. Trustee Williams, President Byrne.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, is there any new business or communication to come before the board,
Yes.
Yes.
other than the one that I know? I guess that, well, I'm asking if there's other new business besides this.
I'd like to bring up two things that I discussed with the
Go
chief
ahead.
earlier. At this point, you want to do it now? or-
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is just a skunk update. I was talking to the chief. It's still too early to start trapping skunks. It's still too cold out. So, but it is on our agenda. And the Park District, I believe, is on board also. So we'll start the process shortly. The second is, I was just kind of doing an informal poll this afternoon while I was sitting, waiting to make a left turn on Fairway off of 45. And I came up with 1 out of 10 folks were talking on their cell phone, and that is against the law. And the chief has advised me that there is no grant money for special enforcement. However, he plans on doing some special enforcement when the weather breaks and things get a little better. So be forewarned, folks, you're talking on your little box. That's a ticket. How much is it?
Normally, it's $125. We're working on a program right now to incorporate it in with our compliance ticket program. So it'll be a little bit less, and there won't be a court appearance,
Okay, so $100 plus or minus?
plus or minus.
Okay. Okay, approval and passes of Resolution 2014-038, a resolution authorizing the president and village clerk to execute the Imprellis, is that how you say it? Imprellis DuPont Claim Resolution Agreement for White Deer Run Golf Course property. This is the herbicide, pesticide that was applied and it killed, a bunch of evergreen trees?
Right.
And I assume everybody read the summary on it, but are we keeping 10% of that, John?
I don't believe so. I think it will all be refunded, it could be refunded to
Well,
the
the
white
total
the
amount
operators.
is what, 75,000 or just shy of that?
$72,093.45.
Okay, because late in the afternoon, I did speak to Dan Shepherd,
Mhm.
and he said the agreement called for us to hold or keep 10% of that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know,
I mean, it would be your choice. I'm assuming that you could decide to refund, at some point, refund it back
yeah,
to
but
the
what I'm
operators.
saying is I thought he made the comment, who's got the full agreement?
Well, here's what the 72,000 is comprised of: 54,190 to replace 25 trees lost, 3,750 for maintenance of new trees,
Right,
3,713 for maintenance of 13 trees that remained on the property but need maintenance. And then there's $10,440.45 that is additional compensation. So that might have been the dollars that Dan was talking about, because that's not earmarked specifically to trees. It's additional compensation to,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, he said it was, his position was that we were to keep it.
And the reality is that this is total settlement, so if some damage were to surface, at a later date, we would have to eat it, but I think enough time has passed, because this was applied, the actual herbicide was probably applied in 2010 and 2011, because
Okay.
they stopped selling it.
So staff's recommendation is to let the whole 72,000 go back to our tenant?
Yeah, I mean, we've incurred some legal bills with regards to reviewing the documentation and everything like that, but, I mean, we did that as a part of our normal review process, so, I mean, it would be up to the board as to whether
Okay, no,
we're
that's
okay with
fine
that.
then. I mean, all right, so give me the actual dollar amount, 72,000?
$93.45.
72,000,
093.
$72,930.
No, $93.
Is it
72093.45,
Yeah, 720, okay, in cents?
45.
Okay. Was there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
And a second, any further comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Okay. Any other business to come before the board? We're not going into closed session
No,
tonight?
sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go into committee of the whole?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. First item, approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of March 19th, 2014.
Mr. President, I have a quick question for staff. I was reading within the section that deals with the video gaming. I didn't recall that percentage that was set forth by, I guess, one of the individuals, or the individual that gave testimony, but I couldn't understand whether that was, it's shown as 0.072%. Is it 0.07%, 7.2%, or 72%?
If I remembered correctly, I thought it was,
It's just in the way it's written there that.
I thought it was 0.072%, so it was less than 1%.
Okay, if that is, then that is correct, then as written. So if that is it, I didn't recall that, so I have no changes, corrections, or additions.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, second item, request for an outdoor merchandise display and sales permit for the Home Depot, 943 North Milwaukee Avenue. Mike Atkinson, are you involved in this?
Yes, I was. What's proposed before you tonight is the same size, same location, same fencing, pretty much the same thing that you've seen the last 3 years. But as required by ordinance, because it's a display area that's located in the parking lot, they have to come back before the board every year. So Home
And then
Depot,
there's enough separation between Steinhoffels and the display, outdoor display area to get the emergency vehicles back there? Or-
that's correct. The access drive between those two facilities will remain open.
And there won't, you're not using that for truck traffic?
No, not at all, just for retail.
But
space.
Steinhoffels, what do they do? Isn't that where you do, you go do pickups on that back door there?
Yeah, the access drive, it'll remain open, and yes, they do use that access drive to get to their off-street loading facilities. So that'll remain open as well.
Correct.
You'll notice there's a letter too in your packet from Steinhoffels in support of this request. I think they like the traffic that the outdoor merchandise display area creates for them.
What basically hasn't changed from last year.
It's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was fine. So,
You've always done a really nice job in the past.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so is there a
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz? Aye. Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye?
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 3, request from Thybony Interiors for approval of a facade renovation at 700 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Representatives of Hawthorne Square are here and can review the changes, and I can give you a quick summary. Thybony will be located in a portion of the space that's currently occupied by the Family Christian Bookstore. That store will be reducing its current size, and then Thybony will take that remaining portion. So they'll be right in between where Sleepy's will be opening and where Family Christian store is right now. What they would do is they would extend out the entrance canopy 8 feet 7 inches, so it would be in the same plane as that of the Family Christian store and Sleepy's. The canopy width would be 32 feet 10 inches, and it would be located 21 feet above grade. They would have a cornice profile that would match that of the existing center, and then you'll note by looking at the sign the drawings that there is a drive-it sign band that would match that of the existing center. So with that, if you have any questions, again, the petitioner is here. If the committee feels that the proposed changes are appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance approving the facade changes subject to the conditions that are outlined in your packet.
Motion to prepare the ordinance to provide the approval. I have one question. Are you closing down the store in Mundelein then?
He is. He's moving over from Mundelein to our center. That's
Thank you.
correct.
Is the owner here tonight?
He is not.
Okay,
Anybody from them?
No,
No.
no.
okay.
Because they do excellent work.
Yeah, it's a great addition to the center. We're very pleased.
Yeah, anybody that can make my wife as happy as they did is,
Okay, so there's a request. All right, so we got a motion.
second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye?
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Aye. President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. Okay, request from Maggiano's to amend ordinance 13-14, authorizing a blade sign on their storefront located at 307 Hawthorne Center.
Good evening.
Thank you. Real quick, I can give the board a summary of what's being requested. As the board is aware, Maggiano's is locating in the space formerly occupied by Ruby Tuesdays. And as part of their facade renovation, they are requesting the board to consider a blade sign that would be located at the corner of that building. The sign is approximately 47 square feet and would extend out 3 feet 11 inches from the face of the building, and it would be located 10 feet above grade. Ordinance number 2013-014, as the board is aware, approved a special use permit authorizing a PUD for the redevelopment of Westfield Hawthorne. A sign package for them all, including associated variations, was made part of this approval. This blade sign, however, was not made part of that package, and that's the reason why they're before you tonight. In order for them to have the blade sign, an amendment to the ordinance would be required, which would include 2 variations. One, to have the sign at a size that would be 47 square feet rather than the maximum permitted size of 28 square feet. And the other one would be to install the sign perpendicular to the wall, which is otherwise not permitted. So for tonight, in the committee's deliberations, we're asking the committee to determine if the proposed sign changes the concept or intent of the original PUD that you approved. If you feel that it does change the concept or intent of the original ordinance, then the matter would be referred back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for further consideration and a reopening of the public hearing. If the committee feels that it does not change the concept or intent, then it would be appropriate to direct staff to prepare an ordinance amending Ordinance 2013-014, approving the blade sign. And with that, I'll turn that over to representatives of Maggiano's who can answer any questions that you may have.
Before, so we're approving this variation, not approving a change to the ordinance?
That's correct. The original ordinance would remain identical as approved. There'd be an amendment that would include this specific blade sign. And that approval, just so that the board is aware, would include two variations, one for size and one to have it perpendicular to the wall of the building.
Okay. And your name, please?
Good evening. I'm Chris Butler with Maggiano's. I'm the concept architect, and this is Ken Busey.
Ken Busick, I'm representing Chandler Signs, the sign contractor.
And we had sent over some materials to Mr. Atkinson, and I'm not sure if they made it to you guys, but we also made some boards with them as well. This is a rendering of our facade along the exterior, and essentially what we're doing is obviously we've kind of taken the original facade of Ruby Tuesdays, and we're taking it back, and we're going to reskin it, and we're raising the parapets and adding our signage. But then you'll notice the large blade sign as well.
Where's the blade sign?
It's going to go right on.
You got a picture of it? You don't?
I have pictures of. In fact, I can pass these boards around.
Oh, this one? Oh.
They're examples of all of our. Well, several of our Maggiano's existing. Those boards are going around. Then several.
Before you go on, I got another question for Mr. Atkinson. The awning, are they allowed to have that?
That's the first time I've seen that awning.
That's
Now, as the
kind
board
of what I thought.
Yeah, there's design guidelines that the board approved.
Right.
So what I'll have to do is I'll have to compare that proposed awning to the design guidelines to make sure it's in compliance with that.
Probably isn't, because we've always struck down anything on canvas written, whether it be a umbrella or awnings. So that would require another variance.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean.
Unless it's part of the original. I don't remember.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, I can more specifically answer that question. Is there text on that awning? I couldn't
Yes.
see it from over here.
Yes.
That has come up in conversation. Maggiano's has been advised that that's not permitted.
Okay.
And I would guess it's your intent to not put the text on the awning.
We're aware of
Well,
those
let me ask you a
discussions,
question.
surely, yeah.
Are you going to have like valet parking?
I believe not at this location.
Hi, I'm Caroline Creamer. I'm with Westfield, and there is an allotted Westfield run valet parking adjacent to the area, but it would be dedicated not specific to Maggiano's, but to mall patrons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, but obviously his customers could use it.
absolutely.
Okay. I'm just thinking, if you're waiting, if it's rated.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem. It's just the verbiage on there.
Yes.
Oh, the verbiage.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what's outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always made a big deal of that. I don't have a problem with it, but it would require a third variance, and I'm assuming.
That's correct. And the board is not being requested to consider the awning tonight, just the blade sign. And Trustee Schultz is correct. If they wanted text on the awning, it would require further review and approval by the village
Correct me
board.
if I'm wrong. Is this our first blade sign?
It's the first one I'm aware of, yes.
Yeah.
There's a night of firsts. Great. All right, so do you want to apply for another variance for the
We're not married to the verbiage on the awning, although that's typically where we put our address. We put the street number, so that's just kind of a
That would be fine, the street number.
street number.
I would imagine.
Yeah, the street address number could go on there, but no advertising.
Right.
No name of business. I know that we've stricken a lot of
Well, you
the.
request the variance.
Okay.
Then you could, obviously, you put the number on there. You put the Little Italy thing and your
But I'm
name.
Not at
assuming
this
this
time.
gentleman would like us to take a stand tonight on
Yeah.
what he's interested in.
Well, you're the one
Is
who
he has
brought
to
up the
build-
awning, you know, so we would have been done with this by now, you know.
Like I said, we're not married to that verbiage on the awning. We can,
No,
we can figure that out at,
just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Anticipated opening?
That is July 14th.
Okay. Oh, Bastille Day, good day.
For the Italian restaurant,
I
you're
got,
right.
I got holidays for every day. So, yeah, I just think this is fine. I think it actually adds something to the renovation of the mall and that. So, motion to direct staff to prepare the amendment.
Direct staff to prepare an ordinance, amending ordinance 2013-014, allowing the blade sign.
So made what he said.
Second.
Motion is second, roll call.
Trustee Hebda, Trustee Cook,
Aye?
Trustee Markwart, Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz. Trustee Williams, President Byrne.
Aye, motion carries. Welcome to town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Again, ooh, I'm sorry. Okay. Moving right along there. Concept presentation for a new multi-tenant building, 447 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Shorewood Development Group, or SDG, is here tonight to present plans for a new multi-tenant building. They are proposing to demolish the existing building occupied by Tilted Kilt and to reconstruct or build a new building, which will be about 8,000 square feet in size. This is a little bit over 700 square feet larger than the current building. Tilted Kilt's going to close and may relocate somewhere else in the village. They are working on that right now as we speak. SDG is going to propose to divide the new building into two spaces. They're proposing to locate a restaurant use with a drive-through on the south end of the building and then an additional retail space on the north side. I guess with that, I'll let the petitioner walk through this. The property is zoned properly. They'll have to appear before the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval of special use permit for the drive-through and approval of site landscaping and building elevations. They've also just submitted their plans for technical review at their own risk. So they're aware that if things go badly here tonight, they may have to rework their plans. So they're here tonight to request your direction, obviously, on the appropriateness of the plans. And if you feel it's appropriate, they should be directed to continue the technical review process and then ultimately appear before the Planning and Zoning Commission for a public hearing. So they can walk you through the plans.
So what is this, Axford Development?
No, we came in with Tiger Direct with Oxford Development 2-3 years ago. And we're two separate firms. We shared offices for 3 years.
Can
And
you identify yourself?
my name is Louis Schreiber with Shorewood Development Group. And that's the connection you're making. We shared offices for about 3.5 years, and we moved up a floor and
Yeah,
two separate
Axford's the
offices.
flippers.
Yeah.
The guys that made the big bucks on,
Yeah, that worked out nice.
yeah,
For
for
them.
them it did.
Okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to put in here?
My name's Dan Inkspat. I work for Shorewood Development Group. I could explain the project to you guys. It's the existing Tilted Kilt, and what we plan on doing.
Yeah,
What we plan on doing.
there's a hand
mic.
mic there.
Oh, okay.
That'll let you.
You got to turn it on.
I got it. Thank you. What we're trying to do here is demolish the existing Tilted Kilt restaurant. It's an older building built back in about 1994, I believe. And what we're doing is we're taking out the majority of the parking lot, putting in the new buildings over here with a drive-through. Some of the improvements that we're making on the site is upgrading all of the ADA compliance as far as its parking spaces, as well as the accessible route to the front door. Currently, how it stands, it seems like the parking lot in the condition it is, it needs some work, especially in the ADA compliance route. Another positive thing that we're doing is we're increasing the landscape area from 23% to 26%, improving on the stormwater quality. by
Are you
increasing the
actually
land area.
moving the footprint of the building?
We are. The current, the older orientation kind of hugged this corner property line right here. So we're actually rotating the building. Another additional thing that we're doing,
Are you putting parking on the west side of the building?
no parking on the west side. It's strictly the drive-through lane on the west side.
Where's Milwaukee Avenue?
Milwaukee Avenue runs north
Oh,
and south this way.
Okay.
We've been working with staff on some of the improvements that we want to make. With the suggestions is our current lighting, we're upgrading to LED lighting to improve on the efficiency, to improve on the environment. We're also having a vast upgrade in landscaping over, especially on Milwaukee Avenue, to address some of the staff's concern about visibility through Milwaukee Avenue. This is our landscape plan, which depicts all of our new landscaping that we're putting. So you can see the emphasis of focus is on screening the drive-through as well as a view from Milwaukee. We created a 3-foot high berm over here with planting on top of it just to assist with the view from Milwaukee. That basically explains the majority of the improvements.
You got outdoor eating area?
We do. We have the user over here is Panera. They do have their outdoor patio over here. Some of the other improvements are upgrading their grease interceptor and just basically upgrading the current site to all code compliance.
Before you leave the site plan, if I could, please. The way you've got the drive-through going through there, and then just to the north of that is the outdoor seating, correct?
Correct. So we come through the drive-through
Yeah.
through here, and we exit out, and the outdoor seating's over here.
Okay. Is there a way you could put in some way to make all of the drive-through turn right? Because otherwise, you're basically wrapping the building with the drive-through. And it means that all pedestrian traffic will be in conflict with the drive-through because you'll have just a horseshoe drive-through. It'll be a U-shaped drive-through if you don't make that a right turn. And if you've got outdoor seating there, that means you're going to be sitting outdoors watching everybody that comes through the drive-through.
You know, how we have it right now is, you know, you enter the drive-through on the north and come out over here.
Yes.
We have our stop bar and our stop signs and our ADA compliant
Right.
crosswalk over there. I think that's some things that we can be in consideration for the.
Well, because the problem is if I come out of there and I turn left, which is what most people are going to do to get out the quickest way they can, if you don't put up some kind of no left turn or some way to stop them from turning left, like I said, your drive-through in essence becomes a U. And the people and the people sitting outdoors will be looking at the steady flow of the drive-through. And all of the pedestrians going to the front of that building will be in conflict with the drive-through. And that's a problem.
We do have a safe path for the pedestrians from all points going into the building as far as protecting it.
A safe path.
As far as if you park here or, you know, with their crosswalks to enter into the front door
Show
of
me
the
your
building.
safe path.
There's a striped path right here as
Yeah.
far as you get across and when you cross the drive-through, the most dangerous area.
Okay.
As well as in the back over here. As
How
far as
about, how about everybody coming from the rest of the parking lot, which is to the east?
hopefully they run through the crosswalk and right through the front entrance.
Yeah.
I
You
think
really think people are going to walk 20 feet that way to cross?
they're
from
going to
their
walk,
car?
we understand.
They're going to go
walk
right
through
from
there.
their car to the building.
I think
I mean, that's path of least resistance. That's 99.8% of all people.
I think we're open as far
Well,
as.
no, and the other reason I'm saying it is aesthetically for the people sitting outdoors, I wouldn't want to sit outdoors there and just keep watching a steady stream of the drive-through. Because I know Panera's, the reason they're going to this model is because they've experienced so much more in the way of, pickup orders. It's a total change in their model, I believe. And I personally, for them and for me, if I was sitting out there, I'd like to see you find a way to make the traffic turn around. We have it several other places in town. The Wendy's has a a no right turn out of theirs. So we do have it some other place.
Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks has a no right turn coming out of theirs, so.
45.
45, yeah.
45?
Yeah.
What do we do
Maybe-
with Chick-fil-A that,
Well, that they totally reflipped the building, yeah. That was a total and I don't think this site lets it.
Maybe to support your input was, we had preliminary discussions. One of the things that staff had advised them is we want to understand the queuing of the drive-through lane, and we know right now, once you turn into that magazine area, there is some confusion. We're talking about whether or not their access off of the magazine should only be a right in. If that's the case, people, when they leave the drive-through, are going to go to that point that you're talking about and then go through the magazine. So that may help support your position. But we've asked for traffic information that'll let us understand things
Yeah.
better.
But that's the one thing I would really like to see, I mean, to make best use and safest use, is to get that,
I think we can address it.
because naturally, the drive-through traffic is going to be a U.
Right.
I mean, because that's, again.
Maximizes
least
the area.
resistance, yeah.
I think with pavement striping, with signage,
So that doesn't do this. Yeah, they would.
Can
In
you-
other words, what I would have them do is go right, and then go out to that bigger piece of the parking lot, and out that way.
and I believe we can address those concerns with issues with pavement striping markings, our signage, directional arrows.
Well, what I might do is curve the whole thing so that the last
Tilt it
10
more.
10 feet is a curve, basically directing you out.
Very similar
You
to
may
like a
need
right
to
out
lose the last parking space and just kind of make it so that they're automatically kind of turning to the right, and they'd follow that.
I think we can do that. We're actually have one parking space to, so to speak, spare to meet still
And
within the requirements.
You could even do it with some kind of, so that you're not interfering with the rest of the traffic in the parking lot, some kind of almost like a pork chop type exit.
Very similar to those right in and right outs. that,
Yes.
Yep.
You know, at the
Yes.
front
Yep.
entrance, just to
Exactly.
angle them over here.
Yeah.
what about if you're going to really landscape by Milwaukee? I know they used to have a patio that was up front off of Milwaukee, so why could you not put your patio off of Milwaukee and you have the drive-through just go straight down on the right side, so you just flip-flop it?
You know, some of the things that we wanted to do, it was to screen the movement of the car traffic through there. So we utilize that area to actually berm up and berm back down, and
Right.
that's the majority of our screening in there.
Well, right, so why not put your outdoor patio on that side, or is there not room?
There wasn't not, enough room. We're trying to maximize the height up of the
Yeah,
berm
would
up.
shorten up the queuing on the
Plus,
drive-through.
plus
too.
also, I'd prefer the patio on the east side, because now you're talking about it being shaded from noon on. That's the one reason I refuse to sit out on Cadoba's patio, is that's wide open to the west. And on a summer day, you're cooking there. Even if it's 70 degrees out, it's a sunny day, it's just baking you.
And I think operationally for Panera too, and the back is where the kitchen is and stuff, so it'd be hard to get the customers out the front and around into the back. I believe that's a big concern of theirs as well.
Well, these people are gonna be taking their food to their place of business or home,
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
hence the drive.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so well, I mean, I won't get into building materials and all that tonight. It's all gonna go through what? P and Z?
And we do have I have a sample board back here if you're interested as well.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
Some people have said that this isn't a very architecturally, well, it's not
I'd like to see
outstanding.
that, yeah, it's,
Kind of blasé.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, is there drive-it up there? Sure.
I mean, it is.
My name is Lucian Lang from Raitan Architects. The materials on here will dress the building up a lot more than just looking at plain colors up here. You'll see there is drive it up on the top here, but we're adding these piers in the middle with some recessed lighting. So at night, it's going to wash down these piers, and you'll see stone and you'll see the texture of the wall in there. And here you'll see the stone.
I think you're gonna have to hold those up.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Trustee Schultz can't see it.
Where is that gonna be? Just on the posts?
All the dark red area that you'll see
Yeah?
is actually that.
Oh, that's the stone, okay.
The top portion up here over the Panera is a ceramic tile that looks like wood. It has a wood grain to it, and it gives a nice.
Where's that at? Is that? That's it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
From this chair, might I suggest you go take a look at Aspen Point? I don't like the roof lines. I mean, you know, that's a nice box for, as Trustee Cook mentioned to me earlier. It would make a great Goodyear tire center. You change out all the glass to overhead doors, and
Yeah.
you know, it really, that's ugly.
The architecture between the two outsides is so,
Yeah, so
Nondescript.
I'd go with some kind of roof detail on both ends there that gives it a little pizzazz, because that's going to be a standalone structure there that needs to have a little giddy up to it.
Yeah, I like the stone, that's great, but
Yeah.
yeah, the roof
Yeah.
needs something.
yeah, the roof line is,
Yeah, the roof line is what's killer there.
that big
Okay.
gap on, and both the, well, 3 of the 4 elevations.
Then what do you got? Like drive it down there too?
We have some drive it. We have the coping and storefront material and the brick color, and then the fabric awning there with a light green. Now, when you're looking at the elevation in 3D, I don't have a 3D rendering here, but it's not just a square box here. We have elements with wing walls coming out, which would accent the entrance in the corners. The corners also have a metal awning coming out to that dies into
Fine.
the.
It's in between them. That's so
Well, I
flat.
don't like the ends,
Unless you can,
so.
well, from my chair, unless you can get a better rendering that really shows it. I mean, right now, that just looks blah. So if you've got a picture that's gonna make it look 100% better, but I'm not.
And we can do
taking
that,
your word
Dan
for
and
it.
Lucian, I mean, we can get to a rendering. I think it's more of a,
I agree, that big center section is nuts.
Is the stone, and the stone's all the way around the building?
The stone are at accent pieces. They're in the pilasters in the center where the light would shine through. We have them at the
What's
end in
rear
the
of building?
pilasters.
Where's the rear of the building?
The rear of the building is right here.
So you got,
And we've dressed up the rear of the elevation, which is,
what'd you put in there? Is that, you know, is something to look like glass, or what is the blue stuff?
this is glass.
That's a-
Chances are Panera's going to be walling it off and tinting it, so, because it's right at the locations of their
They have
kitchen.
The actual south elevation?
The south elevation would be facing the,
West elevator.
Through window.
Okay, so what's the top one?
the top one is the back of the building facing
And what-
Milwaukee.
that's the
West.
west elevation facing Milwaukee Ave.
Okay.
But he's gonna landscape the heck out of Milwaukee with a berm too. It's still, you're the new landlord, right, at Vernon Hills Town Center? Or no?
No,
Okay.
no, we,
Sorry, I got.
we purchased Tilted Kilt through a note
Okay.
in 2011, and I've been the landlord there since 2011.
So we're giving the building four-sided architecture with the design elements of the towers, the lighting, the stone. We're doing a nice stack bond to dress up the back, give it some visual interest. The awnings covering the entrances. We're creating the wall sconces along the back. We're creating them on the sides. Kind of pretty excited about the elevation, the way it looks.
Well, that east elevation, though, isn't that your main side? That's your front side?
The front, yes.
Yeah.
And we have,
And that has that huge gap of no roof line whatsoever?
In between the ends.
Yeah,
Where,
this area,
Yeah.
in here.
Yep.
And I don't like the
More than
ends.
half the building.
I prefer you take a look at the PNC Bank down here at 45 in Milwaukee, or Aspen Point, where they created some detail there to
Yeah.
build it up and add some interest. That's just strip mall there. That's,
Okay. I was trying to go with a more contemporary look. I don't know, when I see gables and all that stuff, it gives a more traditional style architecture, so I don't know if, is that,
I think they've got
You wanted-
direction from you all as to what you want to do,
I think
what
they
you want
do.
to see.
I'm not necessarily saying traditional. I mean, take a look at some of the other,
Yeah.
you know, something to carry some kind of a line across.
Right.
PNC is it's a green building, and it uses all these elements to create additional interest, plus also additional greening. It's got some clear story in addition, or as a component of the roof line.
To confirm your PNC, you're the,
PNC at 45 and 21.
Okay.
Vernon Hills Town
Yeah,
Center.
yeah.
No, not the one here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I want to make that clarification, because we have
Good
spent a
catch.
lot of time at the town center where the roadie and the barbecue and everything else, and the beer market is, to address the comments of making the backside that's facing
Right.
21 appear as that. So we have been using the multi-tenant center there to adapt here. So I think we hear direction on what we need to do, and
Okay.
we have time to address it.
The one other question I had was the second tenant. Any idea what, I mean, won't that have an effect, staff on parking and that? I mean,
Actually, the parking complies. I mean, when you apply the retail parking requirement, it does comply.
Good.
So,
But what if it was another restaurant?
well, we'll be counting seats to see how it works, and they'll have to adjust. So,
What is the mattress joint?
We are looking at a mattress.
no,
You know,
no, those-
we were originally looking for 2 restaurants, but we were advised to.
we barely
You gotta
approved
have
the
2
last
mattress
one.
joints for every bank.
At least the mattress, you
We're
get
gonna put a
sales tax.
moratorium
out of
on banks
We-
and mattresses.
No, but we get sales tax
Tax
out of the
out of
mattress
mattress.
place. The bank, we don't get spit. Okay, I personally, I don't
Half a
want,
block from
where,
the
show me all the drive-in areas on your drawing there.
the drive-it is in
Upper?
here, in the upper portion, and it wraps down as a little accent
Yeah.
coming around the sides.
So it's all on all 4 sides?
It is, along with the stone, along with the brick, along with
I'd say
the.
personally,
the-
I'd just get rid of the drive-it and use some other kind of stone. Make it even look nicer.
And
Come
anything
on,
but a bank or a mattress.
yeah.
No, mattresses are,
No, I'll take the
Okay.
mattress joint.
yeah. No banks.
You know,
We got sleepies open.
maybe I should send, Mike out and, or give him the best pictures in town and flip it to these guys.
I
Aspen's
can-
Point turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So did,
Yeah.
the town center.
I mean, I think the Roadie Starbucks building down there is a nice example of a building that's very similar in scale and size. And, some of the qualities there turned out really well.
Yeah.
As
exactly.
did the beer market, so.
You know,
I think we have some good examples to point them at. And
maybe we should give him Joe Antunovich's number.
we can do that too.
Yeah, okay. I don't want any drive-in, none. None.
Okay, the next step for these folks is they'll continue on into technical review, and then on to P and Z for consideration of the special use permit, and we'll let Bob do his disclaimer.
This is a concept review, and nothing that you've heard tonight is binding on the board, so it's possible that you could come back and it could be an all-no. But this gives you kind of a sense of where their preliminary reaction is, but nothing that they've said tonight is binding.
Because this thing's gonna be flipped about a year after they build it. Maybe it's already gonna be flipped even before that.
I challenge that. We've owned it for 3 years, and it's a long-term, this is a long-term hold. This is,
That's about the longest term hold you had in the history of the company, probably. It's hard to answer that truthfully, right?
no, I don't want to be disrespectful. We're long-term holders,
Okay,
so.
yeah, well, that's not my experience with you guys, or your experience, or the word on the street, as they say, either, so. We want a nice building
Yeah.
for the next owner,
Yeah,
okay?
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
take care. Okay.
We'll also work with them on the windows for the mattress place too, so.
All right, yeah.
So,
Okay, request from Jacobs Companies to display a temporary directional sign on Public Works property, 490 Greenleaf Drive. This is for Poets Corner. And you are who?
Chris Downey, Director of Construction for Jacobs.
What's your last name?
Downey.
Okay. Okay. Who's handling this one, Mike Atkinson?
Yeah, I am. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The sign would be a directional sign that would name the development, which is Poets Corner Townhouse Development, the former Greenleaf Townhome Development. The sign would be 4x4, and it would be located at the intersection of Greenleaf and Butterfield Road. It would be located on the Public Works property. The request is unique in that we really don't have sign regulations for off-site directional signs serving a development. We have them for on-site, but not for off-site. So with that, we don't have any regulations to apply. But with it being located on Public Works property, not in the village right-of-way, and in consultation with the village attorney, the way that the board, if you chose to allow this sign, would be to enter into a license agreement, which would be similar to the agreement that you have in place for the White Deer Run sign on the commercial property adjoining Milwaukee Avenue. So for your consideration, there has been a draft agreement that Bob has put together that's attached to your packet. And for tonight's meeting, if the committee feels the sign is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution authorizing a license agreement with Jacobs Companies, allowing placement of the sign on Public Works property. And then there's some conditions outlined in your packet. Specifically, we're recommending that it be, the license agreement lasts for 2 years, just based on our experience and how long it's taken you to sell similar townhome units at Aspen Point. It's reasonable to think that it would take a couple years before you finalize this development. If they wanted to have the sign beyond the 2 years, then they would have to come back before the village board and request.
So what are we going to charge?
Whatever the board decides.
And what's the building material going to be of the signs?
The sign would be similar to a commercial real estate sign. There's a copy of the drawing attached to your
Yeah,
packet.
yeah, but I mean,
But it would just be on plywood, 2 4x4 posts, and then really it would look like a fancy commercial real estate sign, not more than that.
Well, you live over there, so I'll ask you, Tim.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if it'll help it get built and everything
Right.
like that. I mean,
Right.
I would suggest that we not allow it until the first foundation is dug. Because you guys have been diddling around and diddling around and diddling around with this. I mean, I've got people that, oh, you're a stone lame liar because you told us that they were going to break ground 2 years ago.
Well, that
No,
wasn't them.
Well, we had our grand opening last weekend and
Yeah.
we've sold 6 units. And I have the permit packets in my truck to turn in this week to the
Okay.
village.
Okay.
All 16 of them,
When did you take ownership of this piece?
within the last 30 days.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's.
Well, I mean,
that's-
the
and
last
that's my other
guys,
reason, yeah.
wasn't it Brennan
We had
from Country?
Town and Country.
Town and
But
Country
you'll-
Homes.
Town and Country. We've dealt with 2 different groups
Yeah.
for Jacobs in
Right.
that
We've dealt
interim.
with what? Yeah, but they're number 3.
Right.
Well, at least number 3.
No, yeah.
They're number 3.
Yeah,
But they haven't been in it very long, and
Okay.
they've made the
Yeah.
most progress.
okay.
Chief, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, I don't want to be a wet blanket, but the only thing that concerns me about this sign is its proximity to the corner, and Butterfield Road is a very busy street, and I just want to make sure that this sign doesn't block the visibility of southbound traffic on Butterfield, people making a left turn off of Greenleaf. Is there any way to put up like a cardboard mock-up for a short period of time where that sign is going to be so we can assess that? It's hard to determine from pictures or from drawings.
You know what we could do is, we could apply a sightline triangle like we would, like the zoning code would require. Now, right now, it's proposed at 12 feet off the property line adjoining Butterfield Road. If we were to apply zoning regulations for fencing or something like that, it would require a 20-foot setback. So what I would suggest for the board's consideration is to require a 20-foot setback from the property line along Butterfield Road.
Well, he's
Well,
pretty
I
close
actually kind of
to
agree
it.
with Chiefs. Could we get a mock-up of what it's going to look like to know if we need to pull it back a little bit?
I could put,
Because that is a tough corner.
I could
Yeah,
put something.
I don't have any objection to it. It's just that we have a lot of accidents there at that corner anyway, because Butterfield Road is such a busy road during most of the day.
So you're concerned about the people that
People
go
making-
west
Going west on Greenleaf, making a left turn on Butterfield.
to go south?
Correct.
Okay.
That's all. And maybe it would be if the sign was moved back further, there was a further setback, it wouldn't be
12
a,
feet from the sidewalk? Isn't there a sidewalk that runs
Yes.
there?
That is
yeah,
pretty tight.
Well,
that's
okay, but
correct.
what's the grassy area to the west of the sidewalk? Is there anything, is there any
The sidewalk, when you're,
land banking there? Is the sidewalk's not right on Butterfield?
No.
no, only right at the intersection.
intersection.
And then as the sidewalk goes north,
Right.
the grass area between the curb and the sidewalk widens, so.
But
the-
at the
at the intersection,
the
it's-
sidewalk is right at,
That's correct.
line.
It's
Okay.
right on the curb, so,
All right.
But right now, he's what, about 17 feet from the curb?
12 feet is where it's,
Well, you've got 12 feet to the sidewalk on the drawing here.
oh, I'm sorry, yes.
And then
trustee
4
Schultz.
feet for the sidewalk?
Yes.
And then another foot,
Well, he's already 16 feet then, or
yeah,
17 feet.
17 feet.
Yeah, it may be a moot point. I'm just, looking at the overhead diagram on here and the map and stuff and where the red X is.
Dave's here. If Dave put out this 4x4 piece of cardboard there tomorrow.
I could do that.
I mean, it shouldn't be that tough, right?
I don't think it's that tough. I agree with what the chief is saying, the accident history, the location of it. We also have our Public Works monument sign right there, so by putting some mock-up, it would tell us whether or not our sign is blocking this sign and vice
Well, how
versa.
close is our sign to the road?
I think it's probably in the 12-foot range also.
It's pretty much the same
Oh,
setback.
12 feet setback from the inside
I
section
think
of the
that,
sidewalk.
I think the two of these will parallel, they'll be the same, equidistance from Butterfield Road as
Except
currently
that-
proposed.
That the public works sign is.
Further north.
Further north.
And
Right.
in terms of sight
Well,
line,
so
it's
maybe the
quite
answer is to
involved.
move this thing back 3 or 4
Yeah.
feet and be done with it.
I suspect if it's placed in its current location as you're going southbound, you're not necessarily going to see this because you're going to see our Public Works sign first. So I agree, why don't we do a mock-up and take
Oh,
a look
if you're
at it.
coming southbound.
If you're
Yeah.
coming southbound, you're going to see the Public Works sign, this one's going to be blocked, so it may not serve
Well,
the
it-
goal unless you're going northbound on Butterfield and turning east.
Tower that's there on that side of the building, but that's another story.
It would be visible.
All right, what do you want to do? What does the board want to do? You want to mock something up and just see?
I
Well, tentative
propose
approval.
we give him tentative approval, exactly.
Because it's still got to come back to board.
Right,
Subject,
subject to the final placement.
Right.
But
And
give you
Dave
tentative
Brown's
approval.
gonna make a 4x4 piece of cardboard and. All right.
So does the board need to further review this, or can
You
we?
can bring it back to the board when it comes up.
And if we need to modify the board, we will.
Okay, so
Might I
do-
suggest
do
that
the
we-
mock-up and then bring it back to the board after everyone's had a chance to see
Yeah,
it?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we make it, instead of part of the consent agenda, new business, unfinished business, whatever.
Unfinished business.
Understood.
Is that your capiche?
Works for me.
Okay.
He's Irish.
So,
So motion,
exactly. Well, it'd be a motion to direct the staff to
Direct,
direct and to prepare the necessary resolution,
right.
authorizing it, and then
Second.
Okay, motion is second. No further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Sorry. Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries.
What is the price point,
As far as
the units?
sales, they start at $269.
Oh, 269 now.
$269, and the duplexes are in the $320s. So,
Jerry?
okay, thank you.
Okay, right away, direction signs, consideration of draft policy and code amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the board is aware, at the last meeting, the meeting of March 19th, the board approved the design, the location, and the contract cost to install 4 directional signs. So the last step in this process then is to consider amendments to the licensing provisions of the code that would allow a tenant to come to the village, purchase a license, and then they can install their panel on the sign.
Oh, yeah.
And then just to quickly review, how all this will work, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize, but the village will pay to install the main structures of the sign. That's what the board authorized at the last meeting. The sign and the sign panels would only be directional in nature and would not be used for off-site advertising purposes. The village would control font, letter size, and color. No logos would be allowed on the sign. And then a business could request that they place their name with an arrow on the tenant panel. They would pay an initial fee of $200 plus the cost to install that panel, and then there'd be an annual renewal fee of $100. So the draft policy and then the text language, which is attached to your packet, in more detail encompasses the policies and that I just reviewed with you. Also attached to your packet is an amendment to the sign code that would exempt the regulations of the sign code from directional signs that are owned by the village, and then also an amendment to Chapter 25, which would establish licensing fees that I just described for the sign panel. And I can go into the text language in greater detail if you wish, or I could answer any questions that you might have. If the committee feels the amendments are appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare the ordinances amending the licensing provision of the code, amending the sign code, and amending Chapter 5, establishing licensing fees. And again, I can answer any questions that you have.
Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second what he said.
Motion and a second. If no further comments or questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? President Byrne?
All right, motion carries. Well, in the 4 locations is the one at Bucky's, the one in 2 on Lakeview?
That's correct. One at Bucky's is in an easement that was
Right.
created on their property. That would be ground mounted. There'd be another one at Town Line Road and Lakeview Parkway that would be mounted on the light pole.
Yeah.
Then there'd be another ground mounted one at Lakeview Parkway and Center Drive. That'd be ground mounted.
Okay.
And then at Ring Road and Center Drive, there'd be one there mounted on the light pole. 4 total.
Okay. And so the people this will accommodate the people obviously off of Center Drive.
Correct. And there's actually been 1 development and 2 specific businesses that have been
Who's
tracking
looking for
this.
'em?
Brunswick and Whirly Ball.
Yeah. Well,
And
so they could rent all 4.
Yeah, they could. The other one that's contacted me is certain doctors in Vernon Square, and they
I'm kind of like.
they could put the name Vernon Square, but not any particular doctor in that
I
development.
was just going to say, I'm kind of inclined to accommodate the guys that generate, revenue for us too.
Sure, understood. And to answer your question,
I don't think we get much off the doctors, do we?
no, not unless we want plastic surgery or something. But yeah, they could rent 2 sign panels. There's 4 total. They
Yeah,
could,
well, what I'm saying is they could rent 4 if they wanted to.
oh, absolutely. They could have a name on
Because
all
how
4
many
signs.
names did you say we could put under 4 names?
We could, put 4 names, and they could have their name on all
But
4 signs.
could they have it bigger if, in fact, they're the only 2 that want to,
Yes,
Okay.
they could,
All right.
they can get a license for 2
Well,
panels.
that'll certainly help somebody back there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
especially Brunswick.
Yeah, I guess. Tire place is kind of a destination. You go there because you have to. Okay, all right, is there a motion to adjourn the committee to whole?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second, roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda? Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
President Byrne?
All right, motion carries. Okay, thank you and good night.